Should home and garden brands jump on social media trends?
Let's talk about that.
So, Archie, you're back up in the studio.
It's been a while since I've been up here. It has been a while,
yeah. I can't remember the last time we were both up here.
Photo versus video, 5 videos ago. No, all.
See, he knows all of them.
It's going to take some maths.
Yeah,
it's going to be about 7 by the time this comes out.
It was such a feud that we separated our ways.
We had to have a break.
We had to have a break. But we're back now, and we're actually of the same mind on this video.
I think so.
We're not against each other, and we're talking about social media trends.
I'm sure we'll find something to disagree on. But,
I'm sure we will.
Overall,
you've got to keep that feud going.
Yeah, we're on the same plane.
Yes. So social media trends, they're everywhere.
They are everywhere.
In fact, I think one thing that I find really fascinating about social media trends now, particularly when you look on TikTok, is there are so many happening at the same time these days. I think back in my day, there used to be one big trend sort of at a time. Maybe you'd get 1 or 2, but it was usually one big one that everybody was talking about. These days, I could be looking at something that's popped up on my TikTok feed about 20 times in the last 2 minutes. And I say to someone else who is prominent on TikTok, have you seen this video? And they'll go, no.
Yeah, it's going to be different.
But I've seen this other one that's always on mine.
Looking into this topic, actually, I'm trying to find them, I can't, which is annoying. But I did find out some very interesting facts.
Oh, really?
Like the fact that the TikTok algorithm genuinely uses your SIM card location in your phone to target things and which cell tower you are connected to. What was another one? SIM card tray location is actively tracked by TikTok.
Interesting.
To provide you videos for your algorithm.
That feels a little bit intrusive.
A little.
Just a little.
Because they don't, supposedly, what I've read is they don't have access to which device you have, but they can calculate it from your SIM card tray location.
Wow.
So there's a scary statistic
There you go. But before we scare ourselves even more.
Well, yes. So the other stats that's what led me to that was talking about how quick trends change.
Okay.
Which, as you say, TikTok, it's really quick. TikTok also sees the biggest boost by someone following a trend.
Oh, interesting.
So TikTok, on average, is a 50 to 150% increase in reach by following a trend using a hashtag related to a trend or a sound related to a trend, whereas Instagram is only like 30 to 70% increase. Wow. So that's why it's so quick changing, because TikTok boosts it so much.
I see. Wow. Look at that. We're all learning stuff already.
Look at the stats. There you go.
But before we go any further, it's time for our latest new segment.
It is Tea or Tosh.
That's right, it's time to separate the real from the rough. Each episode we tackle a bold marketing claim and figure out what's real and what's just plain wrong. And the best part, you get to play along at home. So, is it tea or tosh?
This week's question that I have for you is...
Can I just say, this is a bit odd for me, because whenever we're doing Grow with Evergreen, where we do our paid media mystery, which, as I've said on the last time we did one of these tea or tosh segments, go and check that out if you haven't seen it. But the main thing is I'm not normally the one answering the question.
No, you've always been the one asking it.
I'm in the firing line for the first time. So go ahead.
The question is, does posting the same video on Instagram and Facebook negatively impact reach? So how much the platform is pushing it out and how many people it's showing it to?
Yes.
Do you think that's tea or tosh?
I think it's they're connected.
They are connected.
They're both owned by Meta. So I think it's got to be so is it tea? Is it does negatively impact it?
Tea does negatively
impact. So I think that's tosh.
It is tosh. It is indeed tosh.
I'm good.
Which is a very common misconception. Really? A lot of people don't like doing the cross-post thing on Instagram or vice versa.
Because they think they're over-posting.
Because they think it's...
That's interesting. I wonder if they think that because they're connected, or I wonder if they think that because they're not sure if it's connected. I have a lot of follow-up questions for that.
Yeah. I think it differs with personal and brand.
Yeah.
I think it's very beneficial with brand.
Yeah.
as a lot of brands, your content's going to be shown to new audiences.
Yeah.
Personal wise, you've probably got the same friends on Instagram and the same friends on Facebook.
Do you do it?
I do actually, yeah.
So do I.
Yeah, I do cross
because
post.
it kind of, for me, it's, if I could have cross post on every social media I'm on, I'd do that too. Yeah. Just because it's an ease of use thing.
I agree. But even for me, it's different audiences. It's like friends my age on Instagram, family and family friends on Facebook.
True. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I used to, back in the day, quick side note here, when I was a young YouTuber, I used to use Twitter, which I will always be called Twitter in my eyes.
Yeah, never X. What even is
that? And I would never use it these days for reasons why we don't have enough time to get into.
No.
But I used to use Twitter as my YouTube social media.
Oh, right.
So everyone who I was connected to on Twitter was just the YouTubers I knew. So I think that's probably true of a lot of people, as you say. That you do have, like, your family is usually the Facebook contacts. Instagram is potentially more your friends than family.
Yeah.
And then LinkedIn is all of your business associates and colleagues.
Exactly.
Cool.
So it depends.
It depends.
But overall, it's beneficial. If your brand, please do it. It will help you.
Post on both. And that's T or Tosh.
So, and that brings us on to, with brands posting content, that brings us on to the first question.
Perfect.
Can jumping on trends actually damage a brand's credibility?
I think I should have brought a big bag of it depends, because
There's going to be
we're going to be handing them out a lot, because it does depend. It depends. And because I think it really is based on what the trend is and what your business is.
Exactly.
If you
the two factors.
If you are a tiling business and you're scrolling on TikTok and you see a dancing trend and you're like, I'm going to get all the lads in the back to do this dancing trend.
Yeah.
Now that might have a really positive impact.
I think it could. Well, yes. So that's a good example of, I think that improves brand image.
Yes.
Because especially if you've got the whole team in it, I think that shows a really great culture in the business and like a friendly atmosphere that is definitely a selling point to a customer.
Yeah.
But if it's a poor video of you doing a trending TikTok dance with no team aspect involved, your, say, as I think some brands probably do, just your PR person doing it, I don't think that's beneficial at all, and I think that would turn away people from your brand.
I think so. I think I have definitely seen instances of, as you say, it's usually like the PR person or the social media manager doing some sort of trend, and you can almost see other people in the background who aren't really aware what's going on.
Which I think looks bad.
And that does look bad. But I think you are absolutely right. I think if you can jump on a trend that is maybe not the first thing you think of with the business, but you do it particularly well, and you fully commit to that, then that can still have a positive impact.
Definitely.
Because I think you're right there, where we're almost verging into the territory of EGC, which is employee-generated content. And we see a lot of businesses and brands on platforms like TikTok who are posting more content that is purely about the employees than the actual brand itself, and it's purely just to build up that brand awareness and of the culture of the company, because at the end of the day, people want to buy from people that they like. We always say people like people and people buy from people, but you could go one step further with that by saying that people want to buy from nice, relatable, friendly people.
100%. I think the relatability aspect is really important. That's a massive for, because if you can convey that you are really similar to your target audience, you will get there, especially with how TikTok is tracking your SIM card location.
Well,
they know that if you post a video relating to your target audience, it will be shown to them. That does just happen.
True. But then I think one caveat there is, I would always ask the question whenever you're thinking about doing something that is not the norm for your business on socials. I would always ask the question, what are we trying to do with our socials? What's our goal? And if you're basically trying to tell people what you do, and there's a thing that Aaron says all the time, which is you need to tell people what you do and either who you do it for or where you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I would say, as a rule of thumb, if you're not doing that with a piece of content, then you need to ask yourself, one, how worthwhile are the results going to be? Because even if you get thousands of views, they might not be the right views.
Exactly.
And then secondly, how much time is it going to take to produce? Because if you're taking a whole week to produce this, like all the lads have been practicing all week this dance,
exactly.
Then and you're getting 100,000 views. And they're all just TikTokers who have no homes
you have to
because
consider
the climate today, and we're getting political now. But you've got to think about that stuff.
At the end of the day, your business, you should have to think about the return on investment. Is it worth wasting hours of people's weeks to, get in front of the eyes of many people?
Yeah.
But are they going to convert? Are they going to spend money?
Particularly if you don't normally do this sort of stuff.
Definitely.
Because me and Aaron actually just recorded another episode of Tea Talks where we were talking about how we consistently grow brands.
Yes.
And we talked a little bit about, on another episode, we're going through many episodes now, about posting organic content with brands. And it's this word consistency. So if your brand is basically posting to TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and you're only posting like once every week or so.
Before we go any further, if you're enjoying today's Tea Talk, you'll love our Grow with Evergreen podcast. Specifically created for home, garden, and lifestyle brands, it's a podcast dedicated to discussing paid media and marketing. Every episode, we're joined by a brand that wants to grow online. We delve into their business, dissect what they're doing, and define a digital growth strategy they can take and deploy into their business. And best of all, you get to listen or watch along, then take those learnings into your own business. Make sure you check it out on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. But for now, let's get back to today's Tea Talk.
Should you be known by many or famous to a few?
Yes. Now, we always say you should be famous to a few.
Yeah.
I think we have literally just touched on this a little bit in that you could be getting hundreds of thousands of views, but if they're not the right views, if they're people who aren't interested in your business or service, then it doesn't really matter. And it's great for growing brand for sure. And I would say once if you've got all the other things in place, then maybe throw something in there that's going to get some views in just to grow, to bring a bit of attention to the brand. But I think being famous to a few is always going to be the more important aspect.
They're going to spend more.
Yeah.
If they really, really like you,
that's it.
And you've done that through your content, etc., your presence online, they're going to spend more. So obviously there is a balance. You still want to be famous to more than a couple, hence a few, but loyalty and how much they're going to spend with you is worth it, definitely.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, we always put commercials first whenever we're talking to any of our clients or prospects, and I think when brands are using social media and doing organic content, which is what we're talking about, ultimately it's a method for growing the business.
Yeah. And
you need to keep that in mind. It's not the same as doing organic posting for your personal channel.
Yeah.
It's ultimately for the business. Although we could also go on to talk about how posting organic content on personal channels is a really good way of growing a business.
Definitely.
But I think that's another topic for another video.
That is another topic. Yeah. We touch on that in the future, maybe.
So ultimately, it depends.
It does depend.
And really, what you need to do is just consider all your options.
I think you've got to be really considerate and careful.
Yeah.
And really see whether it's worth the investment.
Ask yourself the question, is this going to help grow my brand?
Yeah, definitely.
And if the answer is yes, then start learning that dance.
Yeah, exactly. Realistically, if you're asking your PR person to just get 20,000 views a month somehow, it's probably not going to benefit your business.
No.
You want to go over strategy and figure out how can we use social media to sell more without paying to promote, sort of thing. How can we do it organically? I think that's what brands have to consider.
Perfect. So there we go. Thank you, Archie, for joining me back on the set.
Lovely to be back.
Hopefully it won't be too long until you're back again.
Hopefully not.
I think we've survived the feud this time.
Anyway.
And thank you all at home for watching and listening, if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Music. If you haven't already, please subscribe, because it does a huge amount to help growing our business.
Yeah.
And if you've liked what you've listened or watched, then leave a comment.
Or a review.
Or
on Spotify.
a review.
We'd love to see some more stars. It's really easy. You just
great.
press for stars.
There you go. Archie would love it.
I
He's
would
looking at all of these
really
stats
like
every day.
Yes.
So thank you again for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.